Good morning, everyone. Boker Tov. Today is March 21st. March 21st is National Common Courtesy Day. Now, as they say, common sense isn't so common, and common courtesy isn't so common either. But of course, it doesn't mean that just today you have to show common courtesy. It means that today is the day to think about, do we show common courtesy to other people, and use today as a springboard to show more common courtesy to others, more respect and decency to every human being that you encounter. Now, we are now 1 week away from the holiday of Pesach, Passover. And so I'd like to share every day a thought about Passover that you could share at your Passover table. So we all know that on the night of Passover, we bedeck the table with the most beautiful silverware, glassware, beautiful ornaments to show that we are kings and queens, that we are a free nation. We are like royalty on this night. And it's very common to have beautiful silver candlesticks and Kiddush cups and other beautiful silver Seder plates. And the question is as follows. We know that in Jewish law, based on the verse, "This is my God, and I shall glorify him," Zeh Keli Vanveyu, we are instructed to use the most beautiful objects to honor God in the performance of mitzvot. But the question is, we know that gold is more valuable than silver. So if we're trying to honor God and use the most beautiful objects, why don't we use gold Kiddush cups and gold Pesach Seder plates? And why don't we use gold candelabras? Why is it that the tradition is that all the Judaica that we have, especially on the night of Passover, is all made out of silver rather than gold? Wouldn't gold be a greater expression of our honor to God? One beautiful answer I heard once was that gold you could keep and hold on to for days, weeks, months, years, and it remains exactly the way you left it. You could leave a gold object on the shelf, come back 5 years later, it is just as beautiful. But silver, we know, with the passing of time, it begins to become tarnished. And unless you polish it and maintain its sparkle and beauty, it will begin to lose its luster and shine. And the metaphor of silver at the Seder table is that Judaism is like silver. It is the most beautiful, precious gift that God gave us, our heritage. But it requires human effort. It requires that we put in some effort to be able to maintain the sparkle and the shine and the beauty of Judaism. And that effort is by polishing the silver. Polishing the silver means maintaining our Jewish traditions, studying Torah, performing mitzvot, teaching our children like we do on the night of Passover and our grandchildren. That is the effort that for generations, for thousands of years, Jews have put in some sweat and toil and effort to maintain the beauty and the sparkle of Judaism. And that's why we are the only nation from over 3,000 years ago that have still survived. And we continue to be a light because we don't find Amalekites or Hittites or other nationalities from back then. And despite every major empire trying to destroy us, we're still here. And the secret is what parents do on the Seder night, the effort they put in to teaching and educating their children and maintaining Jewish tradition and observance. But this not only pertains to our relationship with God and Judaism, it also pertains to our relationship with one another. The night of Passover is about remembering what the Egyptians did to us and making sure that we never oppress another person, but on the contrary, we seek the redemption of others as God brought us our redemption. We pass it forward. And that's why there's only one meal of the whole year that before we start the Seder, we say, whoever is hungry, let them come and eat. And the reason we do it on the night of Passover is because what we're saying is, God, you redeemed us from our hunger pangs. When we were slaves in Egypt, we had no food. And you gave us freedom and you gave us blessings of prosperity. Well, we're not just going to keep those blessings for ourselves. Common courtesy dictates that if God gave you something and someone else doesn't have that blessing, you share that blessing with others. And so the night of Passover is very much about our relationship with God and maintaining Jewish tradition, but it's also about our interpersonal relationships and maintaining that kindness and love that God showed for us. As someone once said, if you sow common courtesy, you will reap love and friendship. I want to give you an example of common courtesy. Thank God this year one of the major breakthroughs was the peace accords, the Abraham Accords with many of the Gulf states and the Emirates states. And of course, the first peace accord was signed with the United Arab Emirates. Well, this week, the Israeli rugby team went over to Dubai to play the United Arab Emirates rugby team in a competition to go to the European National Rugby Championships. And the game began with the Hatikva blaring through the stadium amidst the skyscrapers of Dubai. And all of the players, not just the Israelis, but of course the United Arab Emirates players, stood with attention as Hatikva was played. But then, even as the game went and played, and then of course was over, the teammates, winning and losing teammates, hugged each other, showed each other friendship and kindness. Now, the Israeli team was significantly better than the United Arab Emirates team, and the score at the end of the game was Israel 33, United Arab Emirates 0. But despite that, there was friendship and camaraderie. But then something very beautiful happened. Someone suggested, now that the champion game was over and Israel won 33-0, why don't we make two teams, blue and white, for the flag of Israel, and combine members and players of each team to play against each other, so it will be more of a fair and balanced playing field. And so they made two teams between Israelis and Arabs, blue and white, and played against one another. And it was just blue and white. And sure enough, it happened to be that the white team won. But it showed common courtesy, that it's not about winning or losing. It's about the friendships we develop by playing with not only a spirit of championship, but the real championship in life is when you show concern for others, that there should be no winners or losers necessarily. We're all winners when we show each other kindness and common courtesy. We may not be able to play in a championship of the rugby team, but every day we have so many opportunities to show common courtesy, like holding the door for someone or offering someone a glass of water. There are endless opportunities to show common courtesy. Today, March 21st, National Common Courtesy Day. Try to increase your common courtesy, and if you do that, we'll reap more friendship, more love, more freedom, and more redemption for us, our friends, our community, and ultimately the entire world. Have a wonderful day.